Second graders, it's Mrs. Heyman, and I'm going to help you be better writers today. And if you think about it, writing is a kind of communication. It's like you have something in your mind or something to say, but instead of talking it, you're going to write it. And you want that message, whatever information you have, to get to the other person, and you want them to understand you. So it really has to be clear. So you know what's going to matter if you're doing writing to communicate? Your printing has to be neat enough that they can actually read your message. And we have to practice some of our letters in order to get it a clear enough message that somebody can know what we want to say, right? So I'm going to show you some of our letters. I'm going to bring up some alphabet here, and we're going to start with the first 5. So there you see A, B, C, D, and E. And of course, we have the capital and the lowercase. And we need to know both. We do use lowercase letters probably a lot more, but we're going to review them all. Okay. All right. So with our capital letters, of course, we have them be tall. We always have the starting spots way up at the top here. Okay. So for capital A, I'm going to start with my pencil at the top line, and I'm going to go diagonally down to the bottom and do the other side the same way, but go diagonally the other direction. And then I take a crossing line right on the dotted line. I know you're going to do better than I am because I'm using my finger to drag a mouse around here. Okay, capital B, straight line from top to bottom. And then, of course, it has those 2 humps to the side. So make them nice and even. 1 hump for the top part and 1 hump for the bottom part. Now, capital C. Capital C is a little tricky because you can't start at the top. See where this starts here? You're kind of a little bit below the top. So pick a starting spot, because remember, you're going to curve up and back and curve all the way to the bottom and curve up again, but don't close it. That would be an O, right? Okay, capital D, like a lot of capital letters, straight line top to bottom, and then give it one big belly out to the side. It's kind of like the B, but it gets 1 hump out to the side, but it's got to be extra big, right? Now, capital E is just lots of straight lines, but that's important. Are they straight, right? Top to bottom, 1 crossing at the top line, 1 crossing at the dotted line, and 1 crossing at the bottom line. Alrighty, on to the lowercase letters. And like I said, we do these more often, so they really need to be good. Now for lowercase a, your starting spot is kind of like the C. You're going to be a little bit down because to begin, and a little bit down this time of the dotted line, of course, not the top. You're going to start a little bit down, and then you're going to do that curve up and back and down to the bottom. And then as you come back to close, this was close it, but then push straight up to the dotted, pull straight down to the bottom. Okay. Now lowercase b. Lowercase b, lowercase d, we confuse a lot. But if you look at how the lowercase b, I wonder if I could even erase that top hump. It almost would just be the lowercase b. So think about, you're just kind of doing a shortcut. You're still going to do the top to bottom line and 1 hump on the bottom, but you don't make the hump the same way. When you're at the bottom, you got to trace up on it, pushing up and swinging out, making your circle, and a little bit of a curve up. Mine got a little flat on the bottom, but you know how. Now, lowercase c is a lot like capital C. The only thing that's different is its size. And how are you going to make it clear that you have a lowercase or a capital? The size, and the lines tell you how big to make it. So lowercase c, you don't start a little bit below the top line. You start a little bit below the dotted line. Remember, curve up and back, circle around, and don't close it. All right. Now, lowercase d, like the B, it's a stick and a circle. However, you don't do the stick first. You start with a circle first. So you're going to start around here, okay, a little bit below your dotted line. push up and back and around and make that whole circle. And when it's finished, just like the A, push all the way up though, and pull all the way back down. And lowercase e, you have to make that straight line first. So again, you can't be on the dotted line. You have to be below. So start below the dotted line, go straight over, and then curve up and back and around, and don't close. So those are the 5 letters, top and bottom, so 10 that we're going to practice. And you're going to do 3 of your best at each of those. And you might finish before classmates, and then you could practice other things on those pages, but make sure you do 3 of each before you do anything else, okay? You will do fine, and work hard.